Hey guys, so welcome to the Simply Her class. I am going to give people a second to jump in. I'm going to go share this link in a couple of places while you guys jump in and say hello. Make sure that as you jump in that you say hello in the comments. I'm going to talk about some giveaways later, so every time you comment is going to be important for that. So make sure that you do that. I am going to go snag the link to this video so I can share it in a couple of places and we can have some more friends join us as you guys are jumping in. I'm going to make sure everyone gets the notification and gets to jump in before we get started. Now, I'm going to be throwing at you all kinds of great information. So, hey, Wendy, you might want a place to jot down some notes. So grab that. Whoops. Make sure you say hello in the comments and just give me a little bit of patience and we are getting started in just a minute. I am going to put the link to this video in the comments so that you guys can grab it and share it if you haven't done that so people can watch live with us, okay? My computer, of course, is being a little slow, so let's see who's jumping in. Oh, yay. Hey, Tina. Hey, Pam. Hey, Courtney. Hi, Nicole. Hey, Lily. Awesome. So excited. This is probably in my top 2 favorite classes to teach, wellness classes. So I've been super pumped all week to get to this night so I can do this with you guys. Make sure you go tag your friends. Let them know that we're getting started. We don't want anyone to miss out. And then I'm going to be talking to you guys about giveaways in just a second. So make sure you're commenting because that will for sure play a part of some giveaways tonight. All right, and I'm going to go share this link. So I'm going to drop the video link right in our comments too. Let's see who else has joined us. Hey, Becca. Hey, Heidi and Rachel and Dorothy and Kim. All right, here is the link if you want to share this video. It's in the comments. I know you guys have friends who will want to have this information, and so I want to make sure we have a chance to share it before I really get started with the meat and potatoes. As I mentioned before, if you weren't in, you might want a place to jot down some notes because we are going to be just covering so much great information from my research over the last couple of years, all about women's wellness. And so we're going to be doing that in just one second. I am dropping my link into my education group. I know some of you are in there in our Living Oily education group. So feel free, you can go drop the link too. All right, let's see. And then afterwards, I also shared in the caption of this video a link to the booklet that goes along with this class. So if you want to grab that as follow-up, you can do that. Hi, Sandra and Cheryl. I'm glad you guys are jumping in. Thank you guys so much for being patient. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to share the link of this video. I put it in the comments for you guys so you can grab it too. But I don't want anybody missing out. So I'm going to share it in like several different places, including my own personal Facebook, so our friends can all jump in. All right. Now, if you're jumping in, I see about 28 of us watching so far. That's awesome. Keep tagging your friends, inviting them in, reminding them that we're getting started. And we are going to get right along. I'm going to give us one more minute. You guys have been super patient, and then we're going to get started. So grab your paper and pencil, share the link, and then we'll get down to business, okay? I am going to be doing several giveaways, so make sure you stick around for those throughout the class tonight. And I've got a few cute things for you as well as some booklets. So, all right, so you may have seen my post earlier today that if you shared the link to this class on your personal Facebook timeline, you'd be entered to win one of our Simply Her booklets. This is a booklet that goes along with this class. It's jam-packed full of information, and it's beautiful. So you'll definitely want that. So now it's not too late to go share that video, I put it in the comments for you guys. Okay. Awesome. And I'm going to try to paste it one more place, and then we're going to jump in, guys. Please make sure you say hello as you jump in. I love to know who is here learning with us. That's also how you'll be entered to win some giveaways. Okay. Hey, Janet. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Chris. Who else is jumping in? Okay. Awesome. We're up to 31 friends. All right, guys. So this class is called Simply Her. It is a women's wellness class that I've been teaching for a few years now, and it is absolutely one of my favorite classes to teach about wellness and about Young Living products. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my story first. Just a few years ago, about 4 years ago, I overnight went from being a mom of 2 school-age kids to a mom of 4 school-age kids. And to be honestly, it kind of threw me very quickly into some chaos that I did not expect. So we are an adoptive family, and going from 2 to 4 kids overnight was quite a stressful situation. The thing is, that stress continued and continued and continued, right? Now, there are some beautiful redemptive things for sure happening with adoption and with family, but that doesn't mean it's not hard. And so a couple of years after that transition for our family, I found myself really dealing with some physical issues that were stemming from the stress, and I didn't really connect those 2 things at first. I didn't ever really think about stress being much more than an emotional response. I never really thought about the impact that it had on my body. But a couple of years after the adoption, I was finding myself super tired. Like 6 o'clock at night, I would like have my head on the table. I would be ready for bed. If there was anything that's stressful that happened, I might have enough adrenaline to get through that situation, and then I was zonked. I was dealing with a lot of anxiety, which was not normal for me. Things that normally would not have stressed me out. Hey, you're in Iceland. That is awesome. I'm so glad you're watching. Things that normally would have stressed me out. Oh, I see somebody else from South Carolina that I don't know. Hey, Cheryl. And from New York. Hey, guys. Things that would have normally stressed me out, would not have normally stressed me out, now made me feel almost like I would hyperventilate. And so I knew that this was not normal for me, and my body was dealing with some big issues. So that was happening, and I started to realize that something was not quite right, and I needed to figure this out, and I started doing some research. So let's back up a few years before, okay? So even before that stress started, I was about 35, in my mid-30s, and I was ending up in the bed several nights a week with sciatica or sinus infections or a UTI or a migraine, and I thought, oh my goodness, this just must be what happens when you get old. Well, then I was introduced some natural remedies, particularly Young Living's essential oils. And I grabbed myself a little box. Who has a box like this? I'm going to show you guys. Let's have one of these beauties. Woo-hoo. Okay, I grabbed myself a box like this back in 2014, and I really wasn't looking for a natural solution, but I was looking for a solution to some problems. And I was amazed at how empowered I became by grabbing some little bottles of oil, okay, and how many aha moments my family was having with those. And I realized it wasn't that I was getting old that was causing these problems, is that I wasn't taking the best care of my body. And that I did have ways, I did have options of doing a better job. And so that was the first step into my journey. And then I fast forwarded a couple years to our adoption journey and to that transition in my life. And I had all of this stress, and I knew something wasn't right, and I wanted to figure it out. So I started doing a little research. I started reading some books, things like Taming the Dragon Within, which is a great resource about the endocrine system, written by 2 chiropractors. And I started listening in on some talks by Jim Bob Haggerton, who is a chiropractor in Texas and also a Young Living lover. And I started to piece some things together. I realized, oh, what's this thing called adrenal fatigue? That sounds like me. Or, oh, I really think my hormones are not quite right. What is going on? And so I wanted to figure out what was going on with my body. And so I started digging and digging and digging into research. And that research became this class and this Simply Her booklet. And so I want to share what has empowered me as a woman and a mama and a wife and a business owner to take the best care of myself and to be my healthiest self ever, regardless of my age. And a lot of that comes with starting with this balance. Okay, so we're going to have a little bit of audience participation. You guys with me? All right, so I told you a little bit about my story. I want to know a little bit about you, and so I want you to, in the comments, to tell me a couple things. And let me tell you, let me show you something. So as you comment tonight, I've got a little giveaway. I'm going to be giving away these super cute diffuser earrings. You guys see those? And a sample of one of my favorite oils. Probably going to be ylang ylang, which we'll talk about today a little bit. And I'm going to send this in the mail to one of you. But you got to comment throughout the class because every comment is your entry to win this particular giveaway. I've got some other stuff coming up too. So in the comments, I want you to tell me two things. I want you to tell me who invited you to this class. So if it was a friend that sent you a message about it, tell me their name. If you saw it on Facebook through an ad or through my Living Oily page, then tell me that. And then, three things. I want you to tell me three things. So tell me who invited you to this class. Then tell me, are you already a Young Living member? If you are, you probably have one of these boxes. If you're not, you might not have one of these boxes yet. So who invited you? Are you a Young Living member yet? And what are you hoping to learn tonight? Okay, so drop those in the comments over there for me. Okay, because every time you comment is going to be an entry to win. So make sure you drop those in. So who invited you to tonight's class, or where did you find out about it? Number two, are you already a Young Living member? And number three is, what do you hope to learn tonight? So we're going to be talking about women's health. We're primarily going to be talking about the endocrine system. Hey, Rachel. And so let me tell you a little bit of background information about that endocrine system. The endocrine system is something that I really was unaware of until the last couple of years. Maybe I didn't pay very much attention in biology in high school. I don't know. It definitely was not my thing. But I was an English major. I was an English high school teacher before I started this gig. And so maybe science I wasn't really paying as much attention to, right? So the endocrine system, though, is the part of our body that are the glands and the parts of the body that release hormones. And when I used to think of the word hormones, that took me straight to things like estrogen and progesterone, right? But what I didn't realize is that there are actually lots and lots of different hormones throughout the body, and they start right here in the brain, and they go all throughout our body in different ways. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and about that endocrine system. Okay, so the more we understand how our bodies work, the better at figuring out how to make good choices for them it will be. And so we're going to take a little journey through this endocrine system, okay? And we're going to go through each of the parts starting right here in our brain. So before I do that, though, I want to see what you guys, awesome. Lots of Young Living members jumping in. Awesome. Yay, I can't wait to hopefully touch on a lot of these things that you guys are wanting to learn. So if you are just jumping in, tell me who invited you to the class tonight. Tell me if you're a Young Living member already and what you're hoping to learn, okay? All right. So the first part of the endocrine system we're going to talk about is called the hypothalamus. It's right here, the limbic system of the brain, and it's kind of where all the things begin. So let's talk there. So our first step in the brain as we work to find balance for our hormones is that hypothalamus. It serves to keep the balance of the entire nervous system, from regulating metabolism to weight, to salt and water intake, to our sex drives, to all of those things in our body. It starts right here in the hypothalamus, okay? So we want a peaceful balance there. We want that, making sure that it's working the way that it's supposed to. Now that hypothalamus is part of the limbic system. The limbic system is extremely important for both emotions and for memories and how they're connected to all the other organs of the body and to our nervous system. So when I smell honeysuckle, for example, it takes me right back to the bus stop when I was 5 years old, and I was allowed to ride the morning bus with my older cousin, and I felt like big stuff, okay? At that bus stop was growing honeysuckle, and so now every time I get a little whiff of that honeysuckle, it takes me right back to a memory. Now, it was a long time ago when I was 5 years old. So that's quite a powerful thing that the brain can do by smelling something and able to trigger a memory that was like 7 years ago, okay? That's powerful, right? Powerful. So it triggers that limbic system. That's what it does. Now, because of the proximity of our noses and our sense of smell to the hypothalamus, it is strongly affected by the things that we sniff, by things like aromatherapy, things like essential oils, things like these little molecules that come up, okay, into our brain. So unlike most of our other senses, smell travels immediately to parts of the brain that control our feelings. So when you think about the word hypothalamus, I want you to think about the word emotions. Those two are connected. Hypothalamus, emotions, okay? So immediately we're able to take the things that we smell and they have a huge impact literally within seconds to that limbic system of the brain, and they can have a extremely powerful effect on our emotional balance, because that's where we get that connection there with the hypothalamus. Okay, so here's the thing. As we go through tonight's class, you're going to be thinking, okay, what parts of my body do I need to be supporting? Is it my hypothalamus? Well, if you feel like your emotions are out of whack and you don't have any control over getting them balanced, okay, if that's how you're feeling, overwhelmed, really anxious, or really down, or really just kind of all over the place where you feel like you're not grounded, you may want to consider giving a little extra care to your hypothalamus by consistently using aromatherapy to help release negative emotions and memories and work toward balance. So I'm going to give you some suggestions of great oils that are going to help trigger that hypothalamus to help you release negative memories and emotions and balance your emotions and your moodiness and your all of those kinds of things. So that's where we're going to start. Okay, so number one, frankincense. Frankincense is full of a constituent called sesquiterpenes. I know it's a big SAT word, but it is a natural chemical in oils like frankincense that actually the research shows has a great impact on its ability to have an effect on the brain. Okay, so just big brain impacts with those sesquiterpenes. So frankincense helps ground our emotions and helps stimulate the brain. It's great for brain health as well as emotional health. Lemon is a great citrus oil that helps uplift our moods. And so if you feel like your hypothalamus needs a little support, you're going to put some lemon in your diffuser at home. Now, what you'll notice, some of the oils that I'm going to be talking about first, they're all in this little box that I was talking about earlier. You guys remember this one? So some of you said, hey, I'm already a Young Living member. I have that box. It's awesome. This box is full of 12 oils. Okay, it comes with a beautiful desert mist diffuser, and it is the best way to get a jump start in becoming a Young Living member. And the beautiful thing is, a lot of the oils we're going to talk about tonight are starting points right in the starter kit, like frankincense and like lemon. So those two are great for supporting that hypothalamus and stimulating that brain and helping uplift our mood or make us feel grounded. Stress Away, another great oil straight from our little box here, Stress Away, is also an oil that's great for your emotional balance. So it is both calming with oils like cedarwood in that blend and copaiba, as well as uplifting with oils like lime. And then you might also love some, another oil from our starter kit, which is Valor. Valor is a Young Living favorite, okay? Raise your hand if you love some Valor. This is a favorite blend of Young Living members because it has such a powerful impact in so many ways. But it gives a boost of confidence when we're in times of transition or we're having a hard time doing a hard task, or it's just hard to take the next step, okay? And so you're going to love just opening this up, taking a whiff, putting it in your diffuser, and getting the emotional stability. It's going to go immediately to that limbic system of your brain and have a big impact. Orange oil is also another great one that you can grab, another citrus oil that you'll love that helps give feelings of happiness and contentment. So a happy hypothalamus is going to mean a healthier emotional life. All right, so that's our first little stop in the endocrine system. Now, our second stop in the endocrine system is right next to that hypothalamus, and it is our pituitary gland. They're like next door neighbors, okay? So pituitary gland, we talked about hypothalamus, you think about emotions. Pituitary gland, we're going to think about energy. Now, back in my 30s, I often would look, if I was going to get into the comparison game, I might look around at other women and like be jealous of things like their flat stomach, okay? These days, I look around at other women and I'm jealous of their energy levels. Anybody with me? Okay. It's the energy that I want now because that is something that has felt depleted, especially when I was dealing with that long-term stress that I told you guys about when I was so fatigued. So let's talk a little bit about the pituitary gland and how supporting that pituitary gland might help you find better energy levels in your life as well and to get over those moments of fatigue, okay? The pituitary gland can be found in the brain right under that hypothalamus. It's considered the master gland, but takes orders through hormone secretion from the hypothalamus. It's considered the, hold on, I got myself mixed up. Okay, considered the master gland, but then it steps up to help regulate the rest of the endocrine system. So whatever's happening with the pituitary gland, if it is firing off hormones correctly and in a healthy way, then the other parts of your endocrine system throughout your body are going to be able to be healthy. However, if something is a little off with how the pituitary gland is functioning, then the functionality of all of this other part of the endocrine system we're going to talk about, they are also going to get out of whack. And so this is a great starting point. If you're feeling like things are off, this is a great place to start that balance, okay? The health of all your other glands relies on this one. It can make a huge difference in your life. So maintaining our brain health, things like the pituitary gland and hypothalamus, helps everything else fall into place. So remember I told you, you need to be thinking about like which of these do I need, where does the support need to start? Was it your hypothalamus and emotions, or is it pituitary gland and energy? Now, some telltale signs that your body is giving you some hints that your pituitary gland might need some support are things like migraines or fatigue, as I mentioned earlier. Those are two kind of like big hints that things are a little off and you might need a little extra support in that part of your brain. Okay, so let's do a few things to keep your pituitary gland at its prime. We're going to start with the consistent use of 2 oils, and these are recommended by Doctors Leanne Dearduff and David Dearduff, who wrote that book I mentioned earlier, Taming the Dragon Within. And they recommend taking 2 of our starter kit oils. This is where we begin. You grab that frankincense and you grab that lavender, okay? These are well-loved oils, right? We use these all the time. And what you're going to do is 4 to 5 times a day. Now, this is consistent use, guys. You guys know these pretty little bottles are super cute, but they don't do anything for us if they sit on that shelf. So we're going to pull them out, and 4 to 5 times a day, you're going to put a drop of frankincense and a drop of lavender on your thumb and to the roof of your mouth. Okay, and that's going to help support the pituitary gland. Now, if you've done this routine with lavender and frankincense for a couple of weeks and you still feel like, whew, this is not giving me all the support I need yet, I need to bump this up, then they suggest subbing out the frankincense with our sacred frankincense and subbing out the lavender with our Idaho Grand Fir. And so those are the 2 powerhouse oils that you might want to try. You do it the same way, 4 to 5 times a day on your thumb to the roof of your mouth. And you're going to get into that soft tissue super fast, into your bloodstream fast, so that it can have that really big impact there on the pituitary gland in the brain. Now, no matter which oils you choose to use, you also need to be supplementing with an effective fish oil containing the fatty acids vital to our brain development and vital to our brain maintenance so that it works like it's supposed to over time, right? Now, you need omega-3s. This is something that if you're looking into wellness, you're going to see this come up, important for all of us to support our brains. Omega-3s help synthesize hormones and play in a really important part in the endocrine system. Now, for Young Living, we offer a fantastic supplement called Omegagize. I'm going to drop that name here in the comments because I like for you to be able to see how it's spelled. Okay, Omegagize. And Omega Gize is our fish oil supplement. It is our best choice for this supplementation for the body. This blend includes antioxidants, which is going to deal with all the free radicals that are happening in our body, which, by the way, the more we stress our body, the more free radicals that are created, and we need to get those under control using antioxidants. We want a lot of antioxidants in our diet and in our nutrition, but it's also a great idea sometimes when our diet kind of lacks that we supplement it. So our Omega Gize has antioxidants. It has fatty acids. It includes vitamin D. Vitamin D is super important for energy levels, super important for emotional balance, super important for your immune system. It includes that. It also has clove essential oil, which, by the way, is like top of the ORAC scale of antioxidants. So products that are sources of antioxidants, clove oil is like super, super high on the top. And then Roman chamomile oil is also added. All of those things together help nourish the brain and provide high quality ingredients that are going to give the brain the health that it needs. Okay, so adding this regimen of oils and supplements each day will hopefully be the first step in helping you get rid of those afternoon sluggish moments or afternoon naps and be able to say hello to lots more energy. Okay. The oils you do 4 to 5 times a day, Courtney, and then the Omega Gize, you would follow the instructions on Omega Gize, but at least once a day. All right, so we've talked about hypothalamus and emotions. We've talked about pituitary gland and energy. Woo, there we go. Okay, brain fog moment. So we're moving into our third part of the brain, and then we're going to stop and have a little audience participation again, okay? So the third part of the brain I want to talk to you about is called the pineal gland. Pineal gland is like kind of in the middle of your brain, back there in the middle. The limbic system's kind of in the front. The pineal gland is a little bit further back. And it is an important part of hormone making for the body as well when it comes to sleep. Hypothalamus, emotions. Pituitary gland, energy. Pineal gland, sleep. This is also going to, of course, connect to your energy levels, right? Because our energy levels, if we're not getting enough sleep, we're not getting enough energy. So we want to talk about that. Hey, Cynthia, I just saw your comment. Awesome. Oh, Cynthia, tell me if you are a Young Living member or not. I see you say you've never tried them. It sounds like you're definitely picking up on some things you might love. I'd love to chat with you a little bit more, okay? So let's take a little stop in this pineal gland and talk about it for a minute, okay? It's particularly important for helping us sleep a little deeper and wake up more rested. Who could use that? Wake up a little more rested, absolutely. I definitely need that in my life, okay? Now, a lot of mystery still surrounds this part of the brain, the pineal gland, but it definitely affects our night's sleep as it regulates the secretion of our sleepy hormone. You guys know what that is? What's the sleepy hormone? Melatonin, right? Now, a lot of us may supplement with melatonin, and that's fine temporarily, but what we really want is the body to do its job, right? We want like such a healthy body that it's doing all the things it's supposed to. And so we want our body, our pineal gland, making that melatonin like it's supposed to. So let's support the pineal gland so they can make the melatonin so we can sleep, so we can wake up rested. That is the goal. Our nights are often bombarded with things that prevent the normal release of this sleepy hormone. So things like our cell phones' blue lights, I'm guilty of that. We've moved our cell phones out of our bedroom now, and I sleep much better. So that's a number one step for sleep, okay? Get the cell phones out of your bedroom. Irregular sleep patterns, hormones can affect your sleep, anxiety can affect your sleep, right? All of these things. So supporting that pineal gland is crucial. So raise your hand if you need a little extra rest. Anybody in here want to know? All right. We know the pineal gland makes the melatonin. Now, April, tell us what to use for that, okay? So there are, of course, some different options. Sleep can be a little complicated for people, but here are some first places to start. You want to get your high sesquiterpene oils out, and you want to use them topically and aromatically, because remember, aromatically gets them right in that nose, right up in their brain super fast, okay? And so the high sesquiterpene oils are oils like cedarwood. A lot of people like to rub it right here between the eyes, okay? Put it in your diffuser. Sandalwood, so things like sacred sandalwood, is going to be high in sesquiterpenes, and so that's going to be a great one to be using every night. And frankincense. Frankincense is such a beautiful oil to help us feel grounded, turn off that brain that's constantly keeping us awake, and help the body relax. So those oils with those sesquiterpenes, especially cedarwood, helps maintain that pineal gland so that it gives us all that melatonin that we really need, right? Hello, who needs that? Okay, so we've talked about all of these parts of the endocrine system in our brain. It starts with our brain. So let's pause and have a little bit of audience participation, okay? Because I want to see you guys commenting. You guys remember, I got gifts. I got gifts. Let me show you. Where are they? I've got some cute earrings. I've got a little sample of oil I'm going to be shipping out to one of you. So you got to be commenting. Okay, so tell me, so far, which part of your brain do you feel like needs the most support? That hypothalamus, that pituitary gland, or that pineal gland? Drop your answer in the comments for me, okay? I want to see what you're thinking so far, what you're learning so far. Awesome. I see that some of you guys, Hattie's talking about using frankincense every night. Guys, frankincense is like my best friend. Frankincense and peppermint, I try to keep a bottle open like in all the places, so I know where those are. All right, awesome. All right, so you drop that answer in the comments for me. We're going to move right along through this system of our body, of the endocrine system, as we keep going. Okay, the next, right here, what's here? Thyroid. So the next part of our endocrine system is the thyroid. When we talk about thyroid, I want you to think about metabolism, okay? So thyroid, metabolism. They go hand in hand together. Any of you guys ever said, my metabolism sure ain't what it used to? When I was 16, I could eat everything I wanted to, and I didn't have to exercise one bit, right? And I stayed skinny. We know that our metabolism has to do with those kinds of things in our body. It's easy to get caught up in thinking that just because we're getting older that our metabolism is going to slow down and that's just normal. But guys, I've decided I'm taking the mantra of I don't care how old I am, I'm going to be as healthy as I can be. I see women who are 20 years older than me living their best lives, being their most active, being their healthiest, and that's where I want to be now and 20 years down the road. So I am not giving into the excuses of this is just what happens to my body when I get older. Absolutely not. I'm going to make sure that I am putting in my body the things that are going to make it be its best. So let's talk about that thyroid and let's talk about that metabolism, because there are things that we can do to support that. If we stay in tune with our bodies, much of those lies that I just told you are simply untrue. We don't have to necessarily have less energy. We don't necessarily have to gain a bunch of weight. We don't necessarily have to have a slower metabolism because we're older. So as we explore this thyroid, we're going to talk a little bit about that. So many of us don't realize that thyroid issues are common for both men and women. So common, in fact, that we mistake typical for normal. And let me guys tell you that a lot of times, even if you go to your typical doctor and get just the normal hormone testing, it may come back and say everything's normal, within normal range. Well, normal range really is typical range. What that means is you are typical with everyone else who has been tested. But that doesn't mean that your thyroid is actually working, or any other part of your body that's tested is necessarily working at its absolute prime. And that's what we want. So be careful and know that just because something seems typical doesn't mean that it is normal. That is not the case. Paying attention to signs and giving us this part of our endocrine system attention is important for most of us. And it'll sometimes mean that we have to do a little bit of self-education to know what our body needs, but that's important. You've got to advocate for yourself. You have to educate yourself because it's your body, okay? It's not that physician's body. It's not that nurse's body. It's not that the husband's body who you're talking, whoever is your body. You've got to listen to it. You've got to be in tune with it and do self-education to know what you feel like is going on. Now, let's talk a little bit about what the thyroid does. The thyroid secretes hormones to boost our metabolism in virtually every cell of the body. If it's not working properly, then we're going to get fatigue, we're going to get weight changes, we're going to get depression, as well as a host of other symptoms that might start happening with our body. When the thyroid is not properly sending out the hormone that it's supposed to send out, which is thyroxine, the other parts of the endocrine system start to suffer as well. Okay? So if you feel like the thyroid is where you need to be supporting, that you need to work on that metabolism, that you need to work on that fatigue, that you need to work on those things, then here is a beautiful place that's super easy way to start, and that is this bottle of Endoflex. Okay? This one's going to come up again as we go along. No matter what part of the endocrine system you are feeling like your body needs support, every single one of you in this class needs to grab this bottle of Endoflex. Endoflex is one of those things that helps the body balance the entire endocrine system. It is a blend. You're going to smell the beautiful spearmint. I put it on earlier. My husband was like, "What are you eating?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "I smell something minty." And I said, "That's my Endoflex." Great places to put it are like on the inside of your ankles. The skin is thin there, so it'll absorb easily. Those are all also VitaFlex for your VitaFlex points for your hormones. So you'll notice I just pop a little roller top right on my Endoflex. And I stick this with my supplement so I don't forget it every single day, because I want to keep that entire endocrine system from the hypothalamus all the way down to my reproductive organs. I want to keep those balanced. Now, the beautiful things, if you're not familiar with essential oils, let me say this to you. Essential oils do not add or take away anything from your body. So when we're talking about essential oils that help maintain healthy hormones, it's not adding hormones, it's not taking out hormones. It helps your body do what your body is designed to do. It's there as a support. It's there to maintain, okay? So it does not take or give away anything in the body. It helps the body balance itself the way that it's designed to do. And so that means you're not going to mess up anything by utilizing your essential oils. And so this one is a great one to have on hand to use all the time, but specifically as we talk about thyroid, a lot of people will take this one and rub it topically on their throat every day to support that thyroid. Okay? That's going to support the thyroid as well as the entire endocrine system. So you need that one in your arsenal. You also may want to consider adding things like myrtle, which is one of the ingredients in Endoflex, but you might want to need a little extra myrtle oil, and lemongrass as additional support for the thyroid. Okay, all of those can be either used, as I mentioned, topically, or the Vitality versions can be used in a capsule. You can take your Endoflex Vitality in a capsule and take that internally, or your lemongrass, so that you can get that support that way as well. Young Living also has an oil-infused supplement called Thyromin. Now, when we talk about supplements or serums with Young Living, now that's a little bit different than talking about how the essential oil works. A supplement or a serum may add to the body, or well, probably not take away, but add things to the body. So when we're talking about supplements, I want you guys to know, I'm going to be upfront and transparent. I am not a medical professional. I'm just a mama trying to figure out what's going on in her body, has done a lot of research, and is very excited to share it. But you need to talk to your doctor about adding supplements based on your own hormone testing or your own issues and your own symptoms, because they can help make those decisions for you. Now, I love to recommend a holistic doctor, a functional doctor, integrative healthcare, something that's going to be holistic minded, but it's important that you talk about dosage and supplement use with those medical professionals that you can trust. Okay, so find one that you can trust that's going to listen to you and help you listen to your body. But Thyromin is a supplement that we have that you can take nightly to get great nutritional support for this particular part of your body, and it's going to help the thyroid secrete the hormones the way that it's supposed to. Rachel, you absolutely can dilute Endoflex, especially if you feel like you have sensitive skin or you want your oils to last a little longer. I did not dilute it. I don't feel a need to personally, so I just put the roller top right on top and used it. Okay. Oh my goodness, Courtney, grab your Endoflex tonight and use it. That's why you grabbed it. Rachel, your oils would be fine with birth control. When you start talking about supplements and if you start talking about things like Progessence Plus, which we'll talk about later, which is a serum, then that's when you want to think through those kind of questions. Okay. What else? Oh, one last thing I wanted to talk about with your thyroid is that one of the things that you may want to do to help support your thyroid is to get rid of some toxins in your home, particularly fluoride. So fluoride is, Cheryl mentioned Endoflex is great for the whole family. It absolutely is, by the way. We're talking about women's wellness here, but actually I use it on my kids because it helps balance all their endocrine system and it keeps them from being so moody. So it's a great one to use on them too. So your thyroid will be damaged by too much use of fluoride, which already is in a lot of our water if you guys are not already filtering your water. And so one way that you can get rid of easy switch in your life of fluoride is to change out your mouthwash and your toothpaste. So our Thieves toothpaste with Young Living is free of dyes and sugars and fluoride. And it's a great quick switch to start eliminating some toxins that might be affecting your thyroid as well. All right. So the next part of the body is really what got me started on this journey, and that's the adrenal glands. So we talked about hypothalamus and emotions, pituitary gland and energy, pineal gland and sleep, thyroid and metabolism, and now we're talking about the adrenal glands and stress. Okay, and this is what got me started on this journey, because when I realized there was a thing called adrenal fatigue, I was like, hello, I'm pretty sure that's me. And so I wanted to know all I could know about that. And sure enough, when I had all my hormones tested, cortisol levels were all kinds of wonky. So I have been supporting my adrenal glands in several ways. And so I'm excited to share this part with you. So I mentioned that season of stress. Many people are unaware when their adrenal glands are struggling. Okay, but taking care of our stress levels and taking care of our adrenal glands can make a big difference on our overall health. You are eventually going to get physically ill if you're staying in long-term stress and you're not supporting your body. So many of you are probably there. You're living in stress. And if you're a woman, you're likely the last person you're taking care of, right? But you need to bump that up. You need to see how important it is that you take the steps to make sure you're as healthy as possible. Otherwise, you're not a good caretaker, and you're not a good friend, and you're not a good wife, and you're not a good business builder or an employee. You've got to take care of yourself. Now, the adrenal glands produce epinephrine, which gives us that energy that we need in an emergency situation. Have you guys ever heard of like times when people like see car accidents happen and they like have all the energy to like lift a car up off people? That's because of that adrenaline that is a hormone created from your adrenal glands, as well as that epinephrine. It gives us that energy. It's the fight or flight hormone, and it's crucial in these types of situations because it prepares the body. Oops, I lost you there for a minute. It prepares the body for action. So the stress hormone cortisol is created during these kinds of moments in those adrenal glands, and cortisol does these things in the body. It breaks down our stored protein, turns it into sugars so that we can have super quick energy to lift that car, right? Or whatever needs to happen. It turns it into glucose, and it gives the brain the energy to like focus on the stressful moment and deal with it right then and have that kind of focus. Now, these things are really helpful unless we stay too stressed for too long. Anybody else out there been too stressed for too long? I'll tell you guys that this afternoon was one of those moments still, okay? Stress, my adrenal glands are probably creating all kinds of cortisol. I ended up having frozen French fries and strawberries and chocolate hummus as my dinner because dinner time just got to be too much. Too stressful. Parenting got to be too stressful, okay? Anybody else living in big stress all the time? So it may be parenting. It may be you're a caregiver to your aging parents. It may be your job is really stressful. It may be your marriage is really stressful. We've all been there, right? Where we're in this extended period of time. And really, our society, we kind of thrive on stress. We kind of thrive on busyness. And we've got to let that go. We've got to realize that that's not how our bodies are designed because we are wreaking havoc on our bodies. This excessive cortisol wreaks havoc on the body's immune system. It encourages weight gain. That was happening to me. And leaves us feeling exhausted. A good sign that your adrenal glands need a little extra TLC is if you have bouts of energy, especially during stressful situations, but they're followed closely by extreme fatigue. So if you are like for me, it would be like a really intense parenting moment and I would be all over it and all the adrenaline and all the things. And as soon as it was over, I was done for the day. Like I needed to go to bed. I needed a nap. Okay, that was the big sign to me that I probably had some adrenal issues. So we want to make sure that we're supporting those adrenal glands. So here are some oils that we can talk about of doing that. The first one is to start with some of our oils from our starter kit, like Stress Away. We mentioned Stress Away earlier, or Peace and Calming. These two oils are naturally or created to naturally calm the nervous system and allow us to break the cycle of stress that occurs and that eventually will fatigue those adrenal glands. So what happens is the more anxiety that we have, the more stress that we have, it creates a cycle in our body that in fact can change your DNA over time if you allow it. So we've got to cut it off. We've got to take control. And one of the ways that we can do that is that powerful aromatherapy. Grab those calming oils. Grab that Stress Away and Peace and Calming. Keep those handy. I was like looking for oils this afternoon and just dumping stuff on me, right? Utilize those to help your body naturally calm itself down so that hopefully those levels kind of level out. Once you feel like you need a little extra support though, a little extra focus for your adrenals, like maybe they're already fatigued, then you want to use some things like Thieves Oil. Our Thieves Oil is also one of our oils from our starter kit. Let me see if I can find it because I just love it. It's one of my favorites. It smells like Christmas time. It's that cinnamon and clove and eucalyptus and lemon and all the good stuff, okay? But that clove inside the Thieves Oil is particularly really good for those adrenal glands. So you can utilize it. You might want a little nutmeg. Now, nutmeg is an oil that you don't want to overdo. It can actually make your heart race a little bit. One drop will do you, okay? But one drop of nutmeg on your head or on your lower back where your adrenals are, or even in a capsule, can be great support for those adrenal glands. Of course, our Endoflex, okay, that we talked about earlier, Endoflex supports all of that part of our system. So for sure, our adrenal glands, and then our blend called Energy. Our blend called Energy has several oils like nutmeg in it that help support that stress hormone in the body and help us to be able to lower the stress hormone and not stay, constantly on go with those high cortisol levels all the time. Now, we can also give our endocrine system a little extra care from the inside out with some oil-infused supplements. So let me tell you some things that are in my cabinet that we keep and use all the time. The first one is a B complex. The Young Living's B complex is called Super B. Super B is going to be crucial for helping you heal those adrenal glands and get a boost of energy that adrenal fatigue has sucked out of you. Okay, so you're going to love adding those to your daily regimen. It helps balance the stress hormones and increase that energy level. Those omega-3s and omega-gies that I mentioned earlier, grab that one, will help reduce the body's response to stress, and it helps lower cortisol and epinephrine. So omega-gies is great for that. And then Mineral Essence, which is a tincture with Young Living. So it's a liquid. I've heard it doesn't taste the best, but that's okay. It's not about how good it tastes. It's about how good it works on your body. This particular tincture will help calm the body to give your adrenals a chance to heal and work well, okay? But we also have to do some things like learn to say no a little more often, right? And create a little more boundary as best we can in the stressful situations that we can control. And then in the stressful situations that we can't, let's pull out our oils to support our body and make sure we're taking our supplements every day, right? Okay. The next and last part of the endocrine system we're going to talk about is the reproductive system. So I'm going to look at my time. All right. I want to finish in 10 minutes, so I'm going to go fast, you guys. But we're going to talk a little bit about the reproductive system and some things that you can use to balance it. In the United States, we're often bombarded with so many toxic products on us and around us daily that we often end up with high estrogen levels because of chemicals that are called endocrine disruptors. They are hormone disruptors, and they mimic estrogen in the body. Okay, and they mimic estrogen and create high estrogen levels in the body, and that makes us susceptible to things like breast cancer. It makes us susceptible to symptoms that are stronger for PMS and menopause than is normal. Girls go through puberty at earlier ages when they've been around these toxins, and boys go through puberty at later ages. So it has a great impact. And so it is a goal of mine that my children will not be affected. Their hormones will not be affected. Their fertility will not be affected because of the toxins that I bring through my door. So I'm getting rid of toxins, and I'm the gatekeeper, right? I'm the one who goes shopping. So what I bring in to use on our laundry, and what I bring in to wash our dishes on, and what I bring in to use as an air freshener, it is my responsibility to make sure that they are not full of endocrine disruptors that will keep my children's hormones out of balance for the rest of their lives. It's the kind of thing that you don't notice in the moment, that it takes years down the road to have impact. And so we want to get rid of those chemicals. So that's the first step. If you want to balance your reproductive system, you need to start going toxin free. Okay. Young Living is completely a wellness company with laundry soap and cleaners and shampoos and hand soaps and essential oils and supplements and all the things. So it is a beautiful first step for going toxin free and getting these under control. Okay. Because of estrogen mimicking chemicals in our personal care and cleaning products, most of us tend to be lower in progesterone and higher in estrogen, leaving us off, leaving us unbalanced. Now, progesterone is vitally important for all ages, no matter where you are in your cycle, okay? Whether or not you are just starting your period or you are in menopause, you need good, balanced progesterone levels, okay? My progesterone levels, I got them tested. Estrogen, super, super, super high. My progesterone was low, just what I expected. And so we've been working on getting that under control. I'm going to tell you a few ways that you can do that. Progesterone is produced in the ovaries, adrenal glands, and placenta, as well as stored in the fat tissue of our body. From young women in their childbearing years to postmenopausal women, you need proper progesterone levels. Okay. When our estrogen and progesterone levels are imbalanced, other parts of our body are going to be suffering as well. So if you think that you need to focus on maintaining healthy reproductive system, first be sure to get rid of those endocrine disruptors. You can use things like our Thieves line for your laundry soap. You can use things for like purification oil or Citrus Fresh, which is right in that starter kit, to replace your air fresheners. You can put lemongrass on wool balls and replace your dryer sheets, which are super toxic. Afterwards, you want to look into some hormone supporting oils. So after talking to your doctor and deciding what your body needs, you might want things like clary sage, which is going to help particularly balance your estrogen levels. Or you might want the Young Living serum called Progessence Plus. Now, Progessence Plus is not like, remember I told you, essential oils don't add or take away? Progessence Plus is a serum. It has essential oils in it, but it also has wild yams, which is a natural way that we can get progesterone. And so it will add the hormone to your body. So you don't need Pro Plus if your progesterone levels are healthy or high, but if your progesterone levels are low, like a lot of us, then you might want to talk to your doctor about it. In addition, you want to begin supporting your liver. Okay, the liver helps detox the body of extra estrogen, and when that detox is not happening as it should, the estrogen continues to build up and throws the entire endocrine system out of balance. You're also going to gain a bunch of weight. Intentionally supporting the balance between your progesterone and estrogen is huge. Okay, so doing some things like using Juva Cleanse or Juva Flex from Young Living will help support your liver so that your liver will detox. You can also add, this is a supplement outside of Young Living. They don't have this one yet, but milk thistle is an herb that you can also utilize to help the body support the liver so that the liver then can detox the estrogen properly. Now, when it comes to your reproductive system, a lot of times we're thinking about, well, what's going to help my periods, or what's going to help fertility, or what's going to help menopause. So I'm going to just touch super briefly. Again, these are things that you probably want to talk to your medical professionals about, but I want to tell you a little bit about them. So when your hormones are out of whack, we're going to have extreme menstrual symptoms and menopausal symptoms, but it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is Progessence Plus, as I mentioned before, is created by Dr. Dan Purser, who specializes in women's issues. This serum, containing naturally occurring progesterone of wild yams, is one that you might need if you're having menstrual migraines, severe PMS, endometriosis, hot flashes, low libido, or night sweats because of progesterone levels. Okay? Again, I recommend talking to your doctor about all of those things to figure out what you most need for your body. Alternatively, let me tell you how to use that. So if you grab some Progessence Plus inside your ankles or on your forearms are great places to put that, and you'll like it as just your daily perfume. Okay. excuse me. Alternatively, the oil blends Lady Sclerol and Sclerescence are designed to support healthy estradiol levels that often drop with age, especially through menopause. So if your estradiol drops, your estrogen levels typically drop, and you're going to see things that are going to cause problems during those menopausal years. These hormone supporting oils aid the ovaries and uterus as well as bones and joints, making them perfect oils for the years during childbirth years and after, including menopause. Lastly, every single woman, including your preteen and teenage daughters, needs to buy a bottle of Dragon Time. Dragon Time is a blend created specifically for that time of the month. It eases cramps, calms the mind of all that moodiness, balances our hormones during the week of our period. You can add it to Epsom salts to take a bath. You can slather it on as perfume, dab it on whoever needs it in the house, but you want to get it on your body. These products promote our reproductive system so that it works well and works the way that it's supposed to. The last part of the reproductive system I want to talk to you about is a little bit of pillow talk. Okay, so sometimes as our body changes or our hormones are wonky, our libido will also be wonky and romance will suffer, right? If we're suffering from fatigue, headaches, irritability, all those things are going to play a part as well. So some great oils to spice things up are things like ylang ylang. Might want to have that one going in your diffuser in the evenings. Also makes a great, perfect perfume that you can wear on your wrist. It is actually the inspiration for Chanel No. 5, that perfume, ylang ylang. It increases feelings of happiness and calms your mind. You also might really like Sensation Massage Oil. I call it the Valentine oil. And so you can grab that from Young Living. This combination of oils like ylang ylang, which increases libido, jasmine, which encourages relaxation and feelings of happiness, and geranium, which supports healthy hormones, is perfect for stimulating romance for you and balancing the hormones so that you feel like the romance in the first place. Okay? All right. Let me see what we have on time. Okay. So, you guys, we have covered so much information, right? And I still have notes. Okay? My notes and our Simply Her booklet is going to go into more detail about things like gut health, as well as getting rid of toxins that will affect women's wellness. So we've got even more goodies in here, as well as a great review of what we've talked about tonight in the Simply Her booklet. So you definitely want to go grab one of those as well. But we're going to have a little bit of audience participation again. Okay, so we've covered that entire endocrine system for the most part: hypothalamus, pituitary gland, the pineal gland, thyroid, the adrenal glands, the reproductive system, right? And I know that you're like, check, 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 right? You're seeing yourself in some of these descriptions because that's where I was too. And so I really want to encourage you to start figuring out what is the best first step for you. Now, some of you who are already Young Living members, then you're making a wish list, right? You're like, oh, I need that geranium. Oh, I need that ylang ylang. I need that Endoflex. You need to create those on your next monthly subscription order, your essential rewards, right? So that you can get the most bang for your buck. Now, if you're watching tonight and you are not yet a Young Living member, okay, you are not yet a Young Living member, I've got a special giveaway that you can be entered in. Okay, so listen to me, but I want to tell you a little bit about your first step. Okay, Sandra, I know I had to go fast. I was running out of time. But that's why you want to grab that Simply Her book, because all of that is in there, and you're welcome to replay the video as well. Okay. Cheryl, I had to get reading glasses yesterday, and I felt like my youth completely died. But anyway, that's another thing. All right. So if you're already a member, you're making a wish list, right? If you are not yet a Young Living member, there are a couple of ways to start. One is about this beautiful box that I opened up and showed you with those 12 oils. And I want to talk to you about that and to determine, is that your best choice? Or we can get you started with a customized box from the products that we talked about throughout tonight's class. So if you are not yet a Young Living member, we're going to make it easy. I want you to just give me a heart in the comments. So if you are not yet a Young Living member, I want you to give me a heart in the comments. Okay, and then what I want you to do is I am going to drop my Facebook. I'm going to drop my Facebook address my personal one right here in the comments for you guys. If you are not yet a member, then I have another extra giveaway from you. Let me find it. I have this beautiful diffuser bracelet. You guys see that I'm going to give away to one of you. And this is how you get entered to win. If you're not yet a Young Living member, you're going to give me a heart in the comments, and then you're going to go, you can friend me on Facebook if you want to, but I want you to message me, and I want you to tell me one of these couple of things, okay? Not yet a member. Don't worry. I'm not going to bug you, okay? But I do want to be able to help you take the next step. So if you're not yet a member, I want you to message me, and I want you to say either number one, hey, April, I definitely want to talk to you about that first step of getting started with Young Living with one of those starter kits or a customized box. Or you're going to say, number two, April, I definitely want to get started with Young Living and I want to create some monthly orders and get some rewards back. Or number three, April, I loved that class. Let's do it with my friends so that they can hear it too. Number four is, hey, I'm still curious and learning more but not ready to jump in yet. Okay, so if you are not yet a Young Living member, you're going to give me a heart and you're going to message me or message the person who invited you to this class and they can let me know, okay? So that they need to let you tell them to let April know. But one of you is going to get this beautiful custom-made diffuser bracelet. I got it from one of my members who makes jewelry. And I'm giving one of these away and you got to tell me one of these four things. Number one, hey, April, I definitely want to get started with Young Living. Number two, hey, April, I want to get started with Young Living and I want to start making some monthly orders and get some rewards back. Number three, I love this class. Let's do it with my friends. Number four, I still want to keep learning because I'm curious. Okay? You guys tell me, message me, friend me, all of those things so that I can help you take the next best step. All right, guys. I know that we covered so much information, so feel free to go back and replay. Feel free to go grab a Simply Her book, super low price. There's even a discount happening right now through the oil supply store, so make sure you go grab that. And before you guys start getting off, make sure in the comments you tell me what was your favorite tip from the night. That will be your last entry to win our diffuser earrings and a sample of oil. So make sure that you give me your favorite tip from tonight and be on the lookout. I will be messaging one of you who's the winner. I'll also put it in the comments and tag you so that you know. And if you shared tonight's class, make sure you go look for the post in the event where I'm giving away a Simply Her book and make sure you comment there so that you will be entered to win. I am so glad that you guys joined me and learned with me tonight. I hope that you feel empowered to take the next step to be the healthiest you and that you can continue your self-education and your journey on women's wellness and what works for you guys. Thank you so much. Next Thursday night is a class for mamas. Same time. It'll be another event page, so go to my April Ficklin Living Oily public page. There's an event in there. It's called a Mama's Wellness Cabinet. I'm going to be going through all kinds of great tips for you guys to have as the school year gets started. I want to see you in there. I will have giveaways, of course. I'll have lots of great tips, all my favorite ones. You don't want to miss out. It'll be a completely different class than this one, so you want to make sure you join in that one, okay? You guys have a great night and a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Stay oily.